Hi, I'm Anna at the Sewing Studio, and this video is all about the Brother Innov-is A16 sewing machine. I'm going to talk you through all its features, show you everything that comes in the box, show you how to thread the machine, we'll do some sewing, show you how easy it is to use, and then talk a bit about warranty and support. Now we've split all those into chapters, so if there's a particular section you're interested in, just head straight there. So the Innov-is A16 is a standard size machine, so you've got 6 inches of space to the right of the needle. It's very easy to operate and choose your stitches with this dial on the front here. And it's A16 because there's 16 different stitch options. You've also got 3 styles of one-step buttonhole there. The stitches can be adjusted in length and width using those buttons. And the maximum width you can achieve is 7mm and the maximum length is 5mm. Now it comes with a foot pedal. You don't have to use the foot pedal to operate it. It also has a start-stop button down here, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. You can start sewing and you can stop sewing without using the foot pedal. You've also got your reverse, locking stitch and needle up, needle down. This here is your speed control slider, so because it's computerized you can control the speed at which you're sewing, so you can get really nice, perfect results. The presser foot has an extra high lift, so you can get any bulky items in underneath. And the feed dogs are Brother's 7-point feed dogs, so there's quite a few there to make sure the fabric is properly secure to give you the most control whilst sewing. Those feed dogs can also be dropped for any kind of free motion work. There's a very simple one-action needle threader. I'll show you that in the sewing section. It really is easy. And the bobbin drops in from the top, and then you've got the quick set feature here, so you just lay the thread in around there and there's no need to draw up the bobbin thread. If I pop this piece off, you've then got your free arm for sewing any cuffs or hems. And then in here, there is a bit of storage for all the feet and accessories that come with the machine. Those comprise of the standard foot that's already on the machine, a zipper or piping foot, blind stitch, overcasting, one for sewing on buttons, and your one-step buttonhole foot, as well as a range of accessories, an operation manual, your foot control, power lead, and a dust cover to help keep it clean. So next I'm going to show you how to thread the machine, show you its capabilities and some of the features and functions. To thread the needle, you want to start by popping your thread spool on the spool pin and then pop the cap on the end. Not too tight, let this spin freely. And then there is a guided numbered path for you here. There's also a sticker on the bed of the machine that demonstrates how to thread it, so you can't really go wrong. So number 1 is in under there, number 2, down and around number 3, number 4, down number 5, and number 6 is the last one just at the top of the needle there. And then for the needle threader, I'm going to make sure the needle's in the right position. So I'm going to use this needle up down button to drop it in and up again. And then you just lay the thread in that gap, and then under this piece here, there's number 7 written on there until you hear a little click. Not sure if you heard that, but that was the little click. Cut off the excess. I usually drop the presser foot to give it a bit of room. And then I'm just going to pull this lever down and back up. I'm not going to pull it, I'm going to push it. And there you go, you can see the eye of the needle's threaded. It's that easy. For the bobbin, just pull that to the right and the cover pops off. Take the empty one out that will arrive with the machine. Obviously you might want to wind a bobbin, that's just as simple, and everything again is numbered for you. So drop that in. And again, you've got arrows telling you which way to go. So you need the tail of thread to the left. There's a little picture there to remind you of that. And there's a graphic here to remind you of that. So drop that in and then go under this piece here, around and then cut it off on the little cutter. And that's laid in there now. You don't need to draw up the bobbin thread, but you can if you want to. So your 16 different stitches are all laid out here for you. And to select between them, you just turn the dial. So in this window, I'm on stitch number 1. And then you just turn it up through the numbers until you get to the stitch that you want. And then just go back again to toggle back down them. As I'm moving the stitches, the stitch length and the stitch width are changing, and that's because it's computerized, so it will set a default standard stitch width and stitch length for that stitch for you. You can obviously alter them if you need to, and that's just with the plus and minuses here. So let's take a look at the standard straight stitch. Just going to grab a couple of pieces of cotton, pop it under the foot, drop the presser foot, lower your needle. At the moment I'm on the slowest speed setting and I'm not using the foot pedal. I'm going to show you the start stop button. So you just press start and you start sewing. To reverse, just keep your finger on the reverse button for as far back as you want to go. It will then stop and you can come forward again. Now slow is really quite a manageable speed, so we'll go up to midway. And then up to top speed. Do your reversing. Take the needle out, lift the presser foot, and then there's a little cutter on the side here that you can nick your threads off, and that's your standard straight stitch. That's on the top and that's underneath. Now there is a second way that you can secure the ends of your seams, and that is with the reinforcement button or the locking stitch button, which is this one here. So if you press this and keep your finger on it, and it will just sew on the spot. So you just want to do 2 or 3 stitches and then do the rest of your row. And when you come to a stop at the end, just keep your finger on that again, do 3 stitches, bring your needle up, and there you can see you don't get the bulk like you do when you do the reverse on there. And that's really good for things like top stitching, something quite decorative where you actually don't want to see that bit. You know, if you're going in the round around the top of a bag or something like that, it can get quite bulky when you join the stitch back around again. So this is a really good solution to that, just to keep everything looking nice and neat. So to select between the stitches I've already demonstrated, but I'm going to go now to a zigzag. So this is what is deemed as a standard zigzag. Let's just secure that. And then you can get more stitch options here with using the width and the length. So if you wanted a satin stitch, for instance, you could go a bit wider and then take the length right down. Let's go 0.4. Alternatively, it could be the other side of the coin, and you might be, I don't know, sewing a lining to a crochet bag or a knitted bag or something like that. So you might want a wider and a longer, sorry, a narrower and a longer stitch. So you can take that down, but then take it up in length. Let's go there. So this was the standard size, and then this is shrinking the length right down so you get a nice close stitch to do a plique or something like that. And then your wider one when you're working with something like knitwear, you know, lots of different things. So although there's a zigzag stitch, you can use it for lots of different things just by changing the width and the length. Let's take a look at the one-step buttonhole. So I've got the buttonhole foot here, and you just want to pull that out at the back, pop your button in and clamp it down, and then that sets the size of the button with an extra 2 millimeters so that the button easily goes in and out of the hole. So to pop this foot on, you just push this lever and that drops off. You can take that away. And then there's the same bar on the front there. I'm just going to use the extra high lift to get that underneath, and then you just snap it on. The next thing you want to do is get your needle thread underneath that foot. Easiest way to do that is to pop a piece of fabric under, drop the needle down, back up again, and then pull the fabric through. And then that's underneath for you. Lastly, and most importantly, you want to bring down the buttonhole sensor, which is this one here. It's just behind the needle threader. And that sits just inside this piece of plastic on the foot. And what happens when it's sewing is it comes forward, it then hits the piece at the back, and the machine knows to stop sewing and do your bar tacks and then come forward again. As I'm using cotton, I'm going to choose the standard buttonhole stitch. So I go round to number 14. There we are. And then there is a little viewing window there, so you might want to pop a little mark on your fabric that shows where the buttonhole is going to sew. Drop the foot down, drop the needle in, and away you go. And there's your nice neat buttonhole on the top and then underneath. Now there are a couple of stretch stitch options on this machine. So I'll take the buttonhole foot off and we'll sew a piece of jersey. So I'm going to take out the needle, if I can find my screwdriver. You do find when these are new they are somewhat tight, but nothing that the screwdriver won't handle. So take that one out, and then I've got a jersey needle here. I'm going to pop that in. They're universal, so they've got the flat back, which goes, well, the flat bit that goes to the back, if you like. Fully insert it as far as it can go, and do the screw up as tight as you can by hand. And if you've not particularly too tight, just do a last quarter turn there. And then in there, under there, whoops, in there, down and up. And there's your loop. So that's the needle threaded. I'm going to pop the standard foot back on. Okay, I've got some jersey here from an old t-shirt. Now I'm going to be sewing down the rib of this jersey material, knitwear on the brain. So I'm going to go for the lightning stitch, which is number 3. I'm going to do a couple of locking stitches. And then a couple more to finish off. And that's done a really nice job there. There's no waviness. You can stretch the fabric with the stitch, and the seam is nice and stretchy as well. On the thicker side of fabrics, I've got some denim, so I'm going to get a jeans needle, pop that in. And get it threaded. There we go. Pop that underneath. So I've got some denim here that we sell in the shop. It's not the thickest of denim, but it's a lot thicker than the cotton that we were using. So I'm going to go back to the standard straight stitch, and because it's thicker, I'm just going to increase the stitch length slightly. secure that. Come forward again. And that's done a really nice neat stitch. Nothing is skipped. And the seam is secure. So let's double that over. Just cut off those loose threads and go for 4 layers. And that's no problem at all for this machine. Still nice and, whoops, nice and secure. So let's double it over again and go through 8 layers. This time I'm going to increase the stitch length again just slightly, just by 0.5 millimeter. And look, that's done a really nice, neat job of that. And again, it's still secure. That seam's not going anywhere. Now, as I say, that is quite a thin denim, but that is 8 layers. So it's probably about 4 layers of kind of standard denim. But then you've got that piece when, when you come to hem, the piece where you're trying to go over the piece at the bottom. So a little trick for you on this is if we fold that over, so it's quite bulky now, and then make a start on your stitching until you get to there, and you can see the foot is now kind of having to ramp upwards. So what you can do is use the self-leveling button. So if you raise the presser foot, tip and push the button in, and then drop the presser foot back down, and you can see now how it's sitting more level. So it will be able to sew over this piece with no problem at all. And you can see how it's sewn through that nice and consistently then. There's no long stitches, there's no skip stitches. It's done a really nice job, and that's underneath. This machine comes with 3 years warranty, and in the box you'll find this warranty card that talks through it for you, including what's covered and what's not covered. But don't forget, we're here as well at the Sewing Studio for any help or advice that you might need with your new machine. So I hope I've managed to demonstrate to you the capabilities of this machine and just how easy it is to use to help you decide whether it's the right machine for you. If so, head on over to our website and pop yours in the basket. Delivery is fast and it's free. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.